Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. I hope you are well today. It's Friday lunchtime, and today's today's video is all about. Well, I gave it the title: "Who's calling you a bad parent?" So, who is calling you a bad parent? One of the things that I have heard a lot from the parents that I've been talking to this week is about this thing called parent guilt. I don't know who came up with that uh, with that word, parent guilt, um, because giving it a name somehow gives it more credibility. And the last thing that we need when the last thing that parenting that something that sorry, I'll say it again. The last thing that we need with something like parent guilt is more credibility. Listen, parents have always had this negative voice in their heads telling them they're not good enough. And, calling it something like coming up with a word like parent guilt, it kind of sums it up, but it gives it more credibility. And it's got more credibility, then you're more likely to believe it. And it's lies. It's lies. This inner critic in our head, this inner critic, it tells us that we're not good enough. We're not a good enough parent. And that's the kind of the recurrent theme song of the of the parent critic is the inner critic in a parent's head is that you're not a good enough parent. You should be doing more. And it's not you. It's not true, and it's not you. And I just wish that we could take it less seriously, to see through. It's a tissue of lies. It's a tissue of lies. It's a tissue of lies, but that tissue of lies seems really, really real. And the fact that you're watching this video about it means that that you're taking this seriously, and you're taking your parenting seriously. So give yourself a break. Wish I could do that. I wish I could reach out beyond this screen and give yourself a break, because I know how it feels, and it doesn't do us any good. It doesn't do us any good. And it's not you. People say I'm criticizing myself. Well, you weren't born criticizing. You weren't born criticizing yourself. So how can this be you? How can the voice in your head that's criticizing you be you if you weren't born with it? You weren't born with it. And I've been talking about this on Facebook the last couple of days. You're born hearing stuff. So, but you're not born saying stuff, even saying stuff to yourself. You don't have any language. You haven't learned. We haven't learned as babies to criticize ourselves. So it's not you. That voice in your head that's criticizing you isn't you. It is criticism. It's not. You don't have an inner critic. It just looks that way. It is. You may have an inner critic, but it isn't you. You're the one that hears the inner critic. You're the one, and we've all got them. We've all got this inner critic. I've got one. Everybody's got one. You've got one. We've all got one. People used to say, people used to get locked up for saying that they had a negative voice in their head, or that they heard voices. We all hear voices all of the time, but it isn't us. It sounds like us, doesn't it? It sounds like us because we hear it in our voice. That's the voice that we're most used to. But we were born looking out on the world, not in towards inside, towards the perfection that we truly are. And this inner criticism, people will sell your courses saying that you can, and I bought them. I bought those courses. I bought those courses that say silence the inner critic. I've fallen for it. And I have to tell you, maybe some people can silence that inner critic, but I don't think I've met I don't think I've met anybody that truly has done so far. So all we can do is ignore it, not take it as seriously. Not taking our thoughts as seriously is immensely freeing. You know, the idea that being out of our mind is a criticism. But to me, being out of our mind that's a blessing. When we're not thinking about this stuff, when we're not thinking about how we could be a better parent, how we could be better at our jobs, how we could be a better spouse, how we could be better brother, sister, whatever. When we are out of our mind, i.e., not thinking about thinking, that is the freedom. Out of your mind is a good thing. So the inner critic, it's not you, and it's not true. See you soon. Bye-bye.